What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Lone Salesman. And today we have a special episode with a crypto panel discussion. This is somewhat of a follow-up from our last discussion with Redbush about NFTs. We kind of want to do more so a deep dive into the crypto. And with that, I'm going to get a little help from three of my colleagues. We have DJ Manilla ICE, who is a cybersecurity professional. DJ DnZ, who's done his own frequent research on the subject, and we've talked with him before on the Ohms Lounge. And last but not least, we have PimpFreshD, a IT professional. So let's get right into it. Well, first off, how do you guys know each other?
So I met D off of Craigslist originally, right?
Okay.
Japan Craigslist.
Interesting.
And then ManillaIce I met on it's like Grindr, but it's not.
Okay.
Bumble, maybe?
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Well, we don't have to dig into that. That's not why we're here today.
D I met through a mutual close friend that we have.
Okay.
ManillaIce is a legend in his own right in
Definitely.
multiple facets, and I first knew of him in the battle scene, and he's good friends with some of my good friends back home. So it's all 6 degree of non-separation, because we all came together instead of separated.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair to say, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was told by like Snake Eyes to hit you up whenever I was like in Tokyo on business. Yeah, we met up and we were like scratching, and then I was out again on business, and that's when we like DJ'd at the club. So that's kind of how these things worked out.
Man, out here on the business, so important.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is a hacking competition, so like there's a lot of money being chanced, but it's like fun aspects of the contest that were going on too. So it's business and a little bit of fun too.
Oh, nice.
Lots of fun. Well, I'll say that too. So yeah.
To kind of like, I mean, everyone kind of knows what crypto is by now, and if you don't, you're probably living under a rock, or I don't know, you just don't care about it, which is fine. But what do you guys, if you guys could summarize what crypto is, or at least the cryptocurrency, how would you guys put it?
I think ManillaIce has the best definition of what it is, and he says it all the time.
I think cryptocurrency is a good representation of storing and trading of value. To most people, they see crypto as like crypto numbers and tokens and like whatever it is. It's just a bunch of numbers. But it's unique numbers that are going on. It's saying this is assigned this value of this piece of property. It's a virtual property. It's not something that you can like see or smell per se. You could basically just see it in like a computer.
But now, now with the crypto and property, it's something crypto and property is tangible now. But I get what you're saying. I mean, I just want to throw that out there.
Well, no, it absolutely is like it's definitely tangible, because like you could actually have like minted Bitcoins and stuff like that, and minted Dogecoin. So but is it something that you want to be like actually like physical and tangible? It's just like would you like to just be sitting on a bunch of gasoline right now? You don't want that at your house, but you do want that in some storage facility where you can like own it and have it just in case like something goes bad. People do that. People buy lots of gasoline, tankers or whatever they do, and maybe they sell it and trade it just like any other commodity. So it's property, and that's how the government, in the US government, classifies it. So you're basically buying a piece of property that stores value of some sort. So this is a unique thing, and it's verified in the fact that you can't really double spend it like you can like with like counterfeit money and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of the power in what cryptocurrency has solved, is there's not really an opportunity for someone to really double spend like with, things that are prone to fraud, like writing hot checks or having counterfeit money, or, it's very like these things that are generated are cryptographically unique in that regard. And they're also verified by multiple parties as like a good or bad transaction, so that it becomes fraud resistant. Whereas our real money today, stuff that you actually use dollars for, yen, whatever the native local currency that you're using, the actual power today to be able to transact and use your actual money today on the internet is basically has to go into some bank somewhere, and you could use a debit card to spend it, or you use a credit card, and then you have this ledger that is basically maintained by Visa, MasterCard, American Express, any major credit card company, or whichever bank is like giving you some type of line of credit or going straight off of like your actual checking account ledger or savings account ledger. They're basically keeping track of all that, and you're trusting that they're gonna do a good job. And
we coin crypto as magic internet monies.
That was the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, I was getting
okay.
Matt is a smart man. He has to let you know.
Well, he has a point.
Yeah, he does, and that's the beauty of magic internet monies. Initially, outside of minting, Bitcoin was untangible, untraceable, or Bitcoin or coins in general, and they only hold value, as far as customer demand. I mean, it's similar to the dollar, but it's not a dollar.
Basically, what Matt's describing is, the whole process of the blockchain, everything being decentralized away from the banks. But now we're seeing government stepping in, trying to tax people on crypto, and they're trying to more so commercialize it. A lot of companies are trying to do that. And then you see altcoins.
I mean, the commercialization and the taxing of it isn't so much of the thing, right? Like, it's not like it's going hand in hand. It's more of like, now that it's becoming so popular and so many people are getting rich off of it, the government wants their cut. They want a cut of that. You know what I mean?
It's not that. I mean, the government the government is definitely going to get their cut, regardless, one way or another, even if it's decentralized or not. The government's more concerned with tracking and money laundering, or so they say. It
does make sense. I mean, if you think about it,
does make sense because it's virtually untraceable to an extent, and you can launder money. It's probably the smartest way to launder money, even though that's not what we're supposed to be discussing today. But
that didn't go into effect until last year, a little later.
It doesn't matter when it goes into effect. It's more so that this is the public reason why the government is making this is the reason why the government say, hey, we need to do this. We need to start being able to track, then tax. If you notice, if you hear the conversations are all about where's this money going and where's it coming from, more so than the tax. The tax is going to get hit anyways because, the government. That's what they're going to end up doing. That's the main reason. They can't put it out there and be like, hey, guys, we're going to tax Bitcoin. It's going to cause a problem in general and in the marketplace. I mean, it's almost, quote unquote, market manipulation. I mean, you need to look at Bitcoin like you look at stocks, as far as like
insider trading.
Value, worth, the limitations, and how the government wants to get their foot in. The exact same. They're trying to do the exact same thing they're doing with stock market. And then in turn, this pushes out the middleman, the little guys like us who are just get rich. But it's just another way, keep the rich and the poor from achieving those levels of risk.
But it's still, like I'm saying, was, before they started wanting to know, if you end up making gains off it and you sell your shares and then you pull out and say, you started with 10K and you bubbled up and made a couple mil, you're going to get taxed on that extra that you made, right? But that wasn't a thing. Half a year ago, like they weren't trying to really do that.
I think they've been trying to do that for a long time until it started getting
popular.
Until it started getting popular, amongst just regular people. I mean, you got to also understand, like, people have been getting rich off Bitcoin for at least. I mean, not Bitcoin. Let me not just focalize it to Bitcoin in general.
All crypto, right? And so,
right, but you got to remember,
so many back in 5 years
no,
ago.
we didn't have so many. But the point I'm trying to make is, it wasn't the fact that people were getting rich. It was the fact that masses were getting rich and people were deviating from the stock market to start investing monies in Bitcoin. And then that's when, like you said, part of it is taxation, but then the other part of it is like, where is this money going? Who are these people that are rich? We don't know who they are, so we can't keep a quote unquote eye on them. But I think that Matt will probably have a better opinion on that than both of us.
Part of my job is to I've had to look at lots of transactions on a blockchain based on addresses I've found in malware, and I've found stuff in millions. There's been lots of
crazy.
decent. Yeah, there's been lots of something that gets dropped onto a system, and you'll follow the address and you could see that it's been spread through a bunch of different countries and a bunch of different things that can be happening with this malware, and you could see the mining address and what kinds of input it's producing throughout the entire lifetime of the blockchain. And you see that wow, depending on the date, it could be in millions, it could be in thousands, it could be in double digit millions or whatever.
And going back to what you said about that, because with the addresses, that's where it ends, right? Because beyond that, you can't figure out whose address that is, who owns it, because it's all decentralized, right?
Right.
Yeah, it goes. I mean, there's things that can happen where it'll be part of an endpoint that goes into an exchange, and that it gets thrown into some account. But you have to ask questions with that exchange, and then they can sit here and transfer that to some other cold wallet somewhere, or
I mean, you think about how easy it is to get another address for any of your coin. I mean, it's the press of a button. You got a whole new address.
And that's without having to go through any kind of shit, right?
Right.
So
you can just do it all your own, on your own. Sorry.
And then Matt just said too, if you got a cold wallet, what are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? They can't trace your cold wallet like that. It's harder to trace a cold wallet than it is, to trace.
You might as well just rob a bank. I mean, I'm being serious. You might as well just rob a bank.
So it's also something that most people aren't really doing and also not really thinking about is, okay, we're going to, for the common investor, okay, where am I going to go to make these investments and purchases, right? Oh, I'm going to go to crypto.com. I'm going to go to Binance. I'm going to go to Coinbase, right? And they figure, okay, I'm just going to open this account, open this wallet for Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? Those are probably the two most common that they would know, unless they know about
any altcoin,
Dogecoin, for example, Dogecoin,
Shiba Inu,
Elon.
Those are the popular altcoins right now. Some of the popular.
And at that point, now that those are on major markets and platforms, they'll get those wallets specifically for that, right? Because you have to have a individual wallet for an individual coin, right? Unless you have a cold wallet, which can hold X amount or X coins, right? Unless you update. So they're not going to think about having, okay, I need to have this extra account or extra wallet over here just in case. So because they can, the company knows who you are, right? You have to do the know your customer.
Right. There's a verification process.
Yeah.
Before you can even buy it.
So if you got your money there, the company knows.
Oh, yeah.
But once you move that to another wallet, so what's to say you don't open another account on, one of those big three, and then you just don't do the know your customer and you just push your shit over there, right? All they got's an email. You could come up with a fake email. You don't got to put your full info on an email. Nobody does that.
Nope.
Unless it's a professional email. Even then, like, you're not going to use your professional email if that's what if you're trying to make sure like it's off grid and it's that much harder to get information on. You're not going to do all that.
Definitely.
But I mean, that's for people that are like actually trying to hold, trying to invest, trying to go long term. If they've amassed a lot, that's probably what those people are doing. But other than that, the common person isn't doing that.
Well, going back to what you said earlier about altcoin and regular coins, can you kind of briefly summarize or explain to people who might not know what a difference is between a coin like Ethereum and Bitcoin is to like an altcoin, like Doge, for example?
I mean, altcoins are pretty much, a lot of them are newer coins. A lot of them are just meme coins, right? What was the big one back in the day? Manilla Ice, the gay fish, Kanye gay fish.
Oh yeah, I remember that coin.
Oh yeah, I don't even know.
So yeah, a lot of those type coins, are kind of like pump and dump coins. They usually fizzle out. They don't have any real worth outside of that immediate purchase where the person made it. They made a quick buck because a bunch of people just jumped on it, and then it's over.
Yeah, like there's no
coin is a perfect example of that too. Like it just happened recently where it's like they put the coin up, it jumped up 285,000%, and then it's back to the same level it was at the entry. So like basically like people were able to pump hard on that and then make the sells, and then they're like rich overnight off of like a tweet from McDonald's, like, which is crazy. Yeah. So like there's
if you're not quick on the draw, then you lose, right?
I mean, it's like I said.
Well, you don't lose because you don't put any money in, but it's you miss out, I guess, right?
Yeah, you miss out. Right. It's one of those things where it's like, if that's what you're looking to do, as far as like crypto trading goes, then you would be on it. But if you're doing it just because like, oh, McDonald's tweeted it, this shit's gonna go big, I'm gonna buy $5,000 worth and then sit on it, and then you're not
like a day.
Yeah, you're not like an educated.
But you don't need to be
investor. Then
you don't need to be educated, and that's the difference between the coins and the stock market in itself. The coins, you don't necessarily have to be educated. You could do what several people are doing and invest in coins that are fractions of a penny, and just hope they hit. You may quote unquote lose some of the initial investment, but if you're buying a coin that's 5 decimal points away from 1 penny, and then you spend $50, you're either going to gain or you're going to lose the $50. How big of a hit is $50 compared to like if you try to do the same thing in the stock market? You got to wait infinite amount of time. You got to put in an infinite amount of money to make the same type gains that you could just gamble on in the current altcoin crypto market.
But that's what I think it is too. Like, so I think altcoins are more for like the habitual gamblers than it is for like folks that are either trying to be on some long-term investments or whatever else in between. Because like, yeah, those coins are like super fucking volatile compared to some of the more stable coins, right?
I mean, which is true, but then you're thinking about risk versus reward. I mean, the things that are volatile usually are mega cheap too. It's not like you're dropping 36,000 on Bitcoin.
But that's also the same thing with a gambler's mentality is like risk versus reward, right? Like you
I don't know, because I do, like, for instance, my current investments outside of the stuff that that we're sitting on, that we have a 5-10-year plan. The things that I'm looking at now are, like I stated before, altcoins that are fractions of a penny, because the investment is so cheap, it doesn't hurt, if I lose said investment. But, I'm just not like I'm just throwing money on any coin. I am doing due diligence. We talk about these things all the time when we start talking about crypto. But, it's just like little man, little money, big gain. It's not gambling, it's more so You know,
but okay, so here's a better scenario, right?
You know what? I think
it's definitely a calculated risk for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are making an assessment of like, here's like the state of like where it currently is, and let's see the social interaction with this coin. Let's see how this thing might be used in the future. Let's say like as an NFT for a game or something. Let's see like let's see why this thing is hot, why people are trying to acquire more of this coin. And if you're able to like capitalize and drop down at the right time, you might hit it. I mean, that's exactly what happened with Doge for us. Like it's down now to like 14, obviously from the high when it was like 70 something. So like for me, I was in at 4 cents and then it went up to 40 cents and I basically sold my original cash investment of like $200 and got the original $200 out, and I've been riding the rest ever since. So like I've like literally put zero money into crypto, which is crazy to me.
So here's the thing too, right? Especially with altcoins that we should have said first. A lot of it too has to do with like some of these altcoins are actually trying to do something, and by something I mean like
it's true. They're not just
projects. Yeah, there's projects attached to it where, you know, let's say they're trying to build a crypto treasury, right? Or they're trying to use it to fund like whatever type of blockchain tech, like Ethereum, right? Ethereum is basically like a blockchain pathway or a highway that only Ethereum users use. And on that highway, we have all these other lanes that can be used for different type of programs. That's what a lot of altcoins try to do, or try to say they do, is they're trying to make this type of program for the blockchain. They're trying to make this type of tech that uses whatever they're calling their blockchain tech. And I mean, that's kind of what's attached with altcoin. And it's usually always like small projects, no projects, or bullshit like we're trying to make a radio station.
Like Rug Radio. No, but anyway, like, yeah, what percentage would you say of these like altcoins are actually trying to make a difference? I mean, obviously Ethereum's being used for several different things, but what would you say? Like,
I wouldn't consider Ethereum an altcoin at this point.
Yeah,
no, it's. I'm not saying it's altcoin, but more so like the uses.
Like if you, for instance, if you go to, let's just say Coinbase has all the major coins and altcoins and the up and coming altcoins. So if you were to go look at Coinbase and check the trade list, that's a pretty good standard of what is current, what's good, what's up and coming, and what's stable as far as coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins. You can also get more data on each of these coins. And I'm using Coinbase because it's probably the most known and the easiest one to use as far as being user-friendly GUI. But you can get more information. You can get plenty of information on all these coins. A lot of the questions you may have, aside from going to that particular coin source page, you can probably pull off any of the major coin banks per se. Because consider Coinbase a coin bank and not necessarily a cryptocurrency platform, even though that's what it is. That's where you can find all the mainstream. Really, for Americans, I think Coinbase is probably the best place for American users, even though you have several other platforms that have several other altcoins and access to other altcoins.
Yeah, another good one I would recommend that I use more so is CoinGecko. So CoinGecko it's not an exchange. This is just for info. And it basically has like all stablecoin, altcoin, and shit like that. You can check on all the pricings, how much, you know, how much did it enter the scene at, and then you can see from when it came out all the way up into, you know, the minute of how it's done, and then it'll tell you what wallets it's available on, explorers. They'll give you their website. You can pull up the white sheet.
So you're saying people who are pretty new, like that would be pretty much the optimal choice of going instead of just downloading like an app and then just throwing money at it,
I
right?
think honestly, it depends on what do you want to do.
Yeah.
If you want to go and dabble, you don't need to go that far. If you want real pertinent information on what you're looking at, then yeah, that's because that's what you want. You want to know, is this particular coin something viable, or is it something that somebody made up, like Elon Doge?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is this another gay fish?
Oh man. Is this just gonna crash and burn or just go nowhere, I guess?
Is this gonna go is this gonna Tron out after 5 years?
Is it gonna go to the fucking moon?
Yeah. Actually, I ain't gonna lie, 5 years is pretty good for any altcoin.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, most of our investment strategies are on a 5 to 10 year plan. So if ours hit in those in those time frames, we're looking good.
Well, okay, I had Bitcoin at 200, I think at 2014.
We both
so
did.
Like, yeah. So I had two Bitcoin, and obviously today it's like 36 and was at the high of like 68.
Right now,
right?
Yeah, 36,000 right now, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, whatever it is, like, I sold it at 200, and I had no idea that it was going to explode all the way in 2020. Right? No one did it.
Who could tell?
No one did. Who could tell? I had this, and had I not done anything, I would still have that coin today. And it's part of it is like I had to really, really understand what this thing was doing. I just saw it as like a way that I got paid for DJing a party, and I just had this 2 Bitcoin. I'm like, cool, that's 200 and 200, that's 400, that's pretty good for a gig. That's fair enough for me. I'll just get my cash and just be on my way. And I sold it because I was concerned about, like, I'm a computer security guy. I'm concerned about people hacking stuff and people taking money. But if you're able to like put this stuff in cold storage, they can't really do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to like hold on to your coin is like a really, really important thing. And if I had just held on to that, this is the hardest lesson I had to learn. Just for however many years, it would have been definitely like factors more than the $200 than that it was at that present time.
Yeah.
So again, that is the hardest lesson I've learned, and I learned that like after like seeing all the stuff that happened in like, was it 2016, 2018, around then when it spiked, and then it spiked again in 2020. Sometimes you just need to just forget that you have it. That's like the biggest lesson learned.
Interesting.
With, long-term investment, that you just have to just put the money down and understand that certain coins are going to be deflationary and are going to grow in value over time as competition for that coin. Once you identify that with like any of these different coins, like which ones are going to be good and gets towards a value, and that's where you make your moves. Like if you can make your move early to be able to like acquire coin and hold on to it, and then be able to be able to look at the long-term zoom out picture of your graph for 5 years. If you hold on to it that long, you'll probably be quite surprised and happy with like how far it goes, because a lot of these things are like, perfect example in 2021 is when I made my initial investment in Dogecoin at 4 cents. Today it's still 14 cents. That's still how many times? That's still 3 times. How many stocks like really do that like that quickly?
Yeah.
And then it went up all the way to like 70 something, right? So it went up a lot. That's a lot. That's more than 10x. Like, so I still 10x my money at 40 cents, right? So that's one time in 2021 that happened.
We are not finance people. We're not, we're idiots. And we're going to leave it as such. And I think Matt makes a really good point, because I had the same situation. And if you with Bitcoin, I had a buddy tell me and I purchased some coins when it was when they were around $200 a coin. And not knowing, my ignorance in Bitcoin at the time is what made me sell it. Not necessarily, the knowing the worth, just not knowing anything about crypto in general. I bought it. I sat on it for a little while. I didn't really see any gain. And at the time, I was still heavier in the stock market. So I sold it. 10 years later, you could have been sitting on a mini gold mine. The biggest thing I think that we all learned about cryptocurrency is you got to get past the talking head, the people that are guessing. This whole guessing game, which has got the market volatile right now, is the one thing that you need to ignore.
Right.
Either purchase and forget it. Do your research, figure out what you think is tangible for you, what's in your cost, in what you can afford to lose, because everything's still a risk. Purchase it, sit on it, and forget it.
Yeah. It's the same as if you're doing stocks. Like most people that buy into stocks as an investment, they're not trying to sit there and think like, this shit's gonna blow up in like 6 months, and I'm gonna fucking come the fuck up. Like nobody's thinking that, right? Like everybody who goes into stocks, they're knowing, okay, if I buy this stock, if I buy a piece of Disney stock now, like that shit's gonna go up in 5 years. It's Disney, right? If you just look at the history,
I'm gonna disagree.
It goes up. It's only been going up in the last 10 years.
I'm going to disagree on the stocks only because two factors. Disney goes up a little bit, but it's not enough to where you're going to most people that are in the stock markets that are making money are people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in the market where small fluctuations actually make a difference. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have a lot of money in the stock market, and like you said, let's say Disney goes up $10 in that 5-year span, you're not going to see any real gains unless you're in Disney for like $10 million, where that $10 change or that $5 change actually holds some real value.
But what I'm saying is, it's the idea of you have to look at it long term. It's just like your 401k. Your 401k, it's the same thing. It's in stocks, right? They're taking your money and then they're putting it into whatever and diversifying it. And then over X amount of time, you get a bigger chunk than what you usually put in, right? So you're expecting that to happen. It's the same with most people that are investing in crypto. Like, you have to look at it that way. You can't just, that's why I said you can't look at it as, okay, I'm going to buy this one piece of Disney stock, and then in 6 months it's going to blow the fuck up. We know it's not going to happen, right? Like, you just have to look at the graph and understand that, okay, even if it went up X amount of percent, okay, my $50, how much do I gain off of that 50? It ain't going to be.
No, I think that also depends, because even with Dogecoin, for instance, I think I've probably made out the best out of three of us only because I was in Doge when Doge was a fraction of a penny, and that shot up in less than a year. So if you're talking about time as far as value,
I'm not talking about it 100xing, 200xing.
No, I'm not talking about that either, dude. I'm not. You didn't even let me finish my point. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying as far as like looking at it as quote unquote stocks and putting the time in. I think what we're all alluding to is if you're trying to make an investment in crypto, you need to make the investment and then you need to just let it simmer for however long you choose to let it simmer, whether it be a year, which we don't think is a viable amount of time. We do think if you're looking to make smart crypto investments and see growth, you need to make a 5 to 10 year plan on said crypto. Make your investment and let it sit for that time period so you can see the growth, whether it be, like you said, whether it be 1x, 10x, 100x. In crypto, all these numbers are feasible, if you're investing in the right thing. But then it goes back to what's the right thing to invest in, right?
Well, yeah, right. But it's also, that mentality of just, okay, you got to let it sit. You can't just have paper hands and be here like.
Nobody here in this group is paper hands.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though. Like, you know,
like a lot of, like he's saying, like a lot of
average,
people now are just buying thinking they're going to see a turnaround like in a month or in a
yeah,
year, and it's not necessarily feasible. It's not. It doesn't really work that way. Yeah, you might see something like you said, like Grimace Coin, shoot up 8,000% in a day
yeah,
or two. But
yeah.
you know,
So yeah, if you're coming in like that with that mentality, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna take this $500, I'm gonna spin this fucking wheel, and wherever the hell it lands, whatever altcoin it lands on, I'm getting. And then I'm gonna wait and then see what happens, and I'm gonna check that shit every day. Oh, if they're only going in with that five, with that mentality, then it's like,
they're probably going to lose it. And I
yeah,
get exactly what you're
and
saying.
they might as well just send it to my
Address
wallet,
and let me
which is
hold on to it.
08C34W
We'll
capital
leave it in the
D.
description, guys. So if you guys want to donate
yeah.
to their wallets.
But yeah, you just got to have that mentality, an investment mentality.
For sure. You got to do your research, and you got to be careful, and you got to be patient. It seems like you guys have listed kind of like your experience with everything, but what would you say got you interested in crypto besides the whole did it take that failure to realize that this was actually worth something? Or when you did realize that Bitcoin was going up, is that when you started like doing more research into it, like you did with stocks and other things?
Mine came when this was some years ago, okay? And I was living in Guam.
I remember that.
And a guy was telling me about packages.
Oh boy, don't get me started on this guy, man. We're not going to name any names, but
we're going to name some names.
We're going to name some names. We'll just say his name is Jeff. We'll just say his name is Jeff.
I'm kidding. I'm
kidding.
I
know.
A lot of it had to do with like, okay, there's this digital currency. It has value. Put cash on it, and it can go up. You can take that out if it goes up way high, right? And it's like, okay, so it's like a digital stock, but the gains are a lot faster than if I put into, if I dropped, I don't know, let's say 10 racks on this stock, on one stock, right? And I let it sit for a year. Now, I might only see 2% return on that. But this digital stock within a year just gave 50% return. And it's slowly creeping up and up and up by the day, by the week, to where this stock barely moves every month. So why am I going to keep fucking with a stock that's tied to a company that's not really doing anything when there's this magical digital stock,
magical internet money
that's going up? And that was the whole thing. If I was going to take that money and invest it somewhere, and I only had to pick between the digital stock or, a company stock, I'm going to go with this digital stock.
Man, I think I was along the same lines. I mean, I've been dabbling in crypto for a very long time. I didn't start getting heavy into it maybe like the past three and a half years. And it was first that learning lesson with the Bitcoin initially. But then it also, like for me, I was thinking not necessarily of a faster return. I was thinking of how can I invest my money being a person that has a smaller stack of money. To me, the stock market is for millionaires. You're not going to see a real return unless you're putting in a lot of money. If you're a thousandaire like me, you want to see those same percentage returns, but on a smaller stack. You're not going to see that in the stock market. If you're putting $100 in the stock market, you might as well just throw that shit out the window.
And that's in all aspects of stock. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, for sure. Well, the whole thing like I said, the whole thing for me is what's a better investment for my level of money that I can actually afford to put at risk. That's not an IRA. That's not in my 401k or anything like that. How can I make an investment, potentially double up my 1,000 Instead of trying to figure out a way to take this 1,000 in the stock market and double it up. The time frame, like DnZ said, the time frame are significantly smaller on the crypto side. Whereas for me, the risk is initially smaller because they can take. I mean, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You could buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. You can't do that in the stock market. You cannot buy fractions of a stock. You either have to buy a stock, and that's it. And that's the beauty of crypto in itself. You know, you don't have to have. You can go into the crypto market with $1 and see gains on said dollar. Right. Whereas if you went into stocks with $1, I mean, what stock are you gonna? You're in penny stocks, and if you're in penny stocks, you might as well just
give me your dollar. Crypto. My wallet is 08XCW.
Oh my god.
3.
Again,
there's a niner in there.
We'll put that in the description. Don't worry. I'll definitely put that in the description.
You know, now crypto is a better tool for people that want to make these type of investments that just don't have the cash flow to try to make crazy big time stock investments.
But what about Manilla Ice? I kind of wanted to see his perspective because he did, besides the story about, how you got paid in crypto. After that, how long did it take you to kind of like get into it more?
Well, after like seeing the big spike in 2016, 2018, I know that there was a crash in 2017, but there was like a big spike where that kind of happened. That was when I was like, wow, it hit 10,000. That is crazy, or 5,000, or whatever the high mark was. I was like, that is like however many X more than my $200 at the time when I had it. So when I kept kind of watching it and going, God damn it, why did I sell that? Why? I'm freaking. It's because I was afraid of hackers because I'm around a bunch of hackers. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just keep my greenbacks, right? So once 2020 rolls around March 2020, I was going, wow, like Bitcoin is at 5,000. Bitcoin is at 5,000. I am an idiot. And then it kept going up to like, what is it, 68,000? And once it hit 50,000, yeah. Once it hit 50,000, that was like a big deal and hit the news. I was just like, wow, I am like multiple times an idiot. So I'm sitting there seeing this. I'm sitting there going like, wow, this is like, I'm seeing all this stuff happening. There's this pandemic. There's all these things that are going on. And then I'm seeing people talking about like what happened with GameStop, like that whole debacle with like people actually fighting people on Wall Street off of them short selling stuff. And basically it screwed that whole, like multiple companies that were like short selling and trying to like bet on
I feel like
GameStop going down. Yeah, they totally did. Right. Yeah. And then when Robinhood, who's they're
the worst.
Yeah. Not great.
Thieves.
In my eyes.
PimpFreshD's opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
This opinion does not reflect upon the Tales from the Lone Salesman podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I mean, once you saw that, you saw the very next day after they started cutting off like the GameStop purchases, probably not legal in my opinion. They started pushing into Dogecoin, and then Dogecoin went up 8x in one day. That's ridiculous. So when you see that kind of market volatility and then it dropped back down to like it was at 1 cent. And everyone bought everything at once. Yeah. And D was dancing. I was like, what is this Dogecoin thing? I'm sitting there like, I need to get in right now because it's like, it went from 8 all the way back down to 2. So it went back down. If you bought at 8, you quote unquote lost money. Right. But you zoom back out today, it's 14. You're still ahead. And if you even saw like the peak, it got to 70. You were really, really up. But just keep zooming out, see what happens. Like that's kind of where you have to like you see it as like, okay, this is a store of value that will grow over time. This is some way. This is a brand. I could sit here and say I own the Dogecoin brand and Shiba. That's kind of how like people can flaunt it. These are the Gucci of crypto, right? If you want to, frame it that way. However you want to frame it, like basically with all of these things, seeing all this market volatility and seeing like how people are buying Doge and seeing these kinds of returns. I sat on it and like I bought it and didn't go anywhere for like 3 months. Mm-hmm. We're like literally, me and D are sitting there talking about it, like, wow, this isn't going anywhere. We'll just sit on it. Who cares? Let's see what happens.
Just sit on
then
it, right?
Yeah. Then it went up until like 12 cents. Then it went to 40. Then it went to, and then it goes down. And then, these things happen with like all these cryptocurrencies. That's why it's, as long as you hold on to it, from the lesson I learned from before, I think it's going to be okay. And that's kind of how I got into cryptocurrency. I further got into it much deeper when the lights went out in Texas last year because of the freeze. And it's freezing right now, and they're afraid the lights are going to go out again. Thank you, Governor Abbott. So it's like these traumatic events are happening to me in my personal life that I'm like, you know what? Once the lights come back on, electricity is going to turn to crypto. That's what's going to happen. I literally seen someone that mined a ton of Bitcoin way back in the 2010s and on, probably have more money than the government with his Bitcoin, and lives in Puerto Rico now. Literally see an actual real life friend of mine that is ridiculously rich off of like Bitcoin. He just mined all that stuff early on, and he hit it big with Bitcoin. Now it's like, okay, well, if you're able to like make money off of like computers and graphics cards and just keeping the thing to like, help verify things on the blockchain, you're basically renting out your computer, in my eyes. You could classify that as free money to you, because you didn't. Yeah, because you're not having to do any, like, you yourself are not having to transact any mental work or any physical work. You're renting out this asset to, which network of coin that you're helping verify transactions on.
This is literally what you did.
Yeah, that's literally what you're doing, and it's free to you.
I want to talk more about the mining aspects too, because you guys, I was always curious about mining, and then when you guys kind of like, I saw you guys kept chatting about it, laying it out more, I started doing research myself, doing it.
And kept bugging you to do it.
Yeah, like Chase's like,
we were harassing everybody.
Bro,
yeah, just tell him he harassed you,
dude.
We harassed everybody
every day.
He'd be like, we felt like it was something that was anybody with a computer. Yeah, anybody with a computer should be, as long as you realize whatever you're mining and however you're trying to mine, GPU, CPU, rigs, whatever, you stay under your power threshold. Once your power threshold starts to eat into your monetary limits, then you're mining too much. You're doing too much.
Right. So so for the common guy who maybe, let's say, has, I don't know, like a gaming laptop. Yeah. Well, let's just say people who are still running maybe 1000 series, 2 series. Not everyone has a 3 series at the moment, except for, me, Dj Manilla ICE. Besides that point, it's hard to get a 3 series nowadays. So for someone who's just getting into mining, maybe has a good gaming rig around maybe like 1K or under, would you say it's worth it for them to get into it?
I would say this. Even if you don't have a gaming, if you have a viable GPU or CPU, and you can find an altcoin that you like, that you feel comfortable with investing in, mine it. That's the beauty of mining. You don't necessarily have to have, don't get me wrong, the better you and the more GPUs you have, of course, the more you can mine. And it makes, higher worth currencies, more attainable. But at the same time, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Altcoins are at a point to where they're cheap enough where you can have basic setup and still mine and still gain. You're gonna eat anything you mine. Even if you're gaining, pennies at a time, you're still gaining.
Okay, so it works 2 ways, right? So if you got a decent setup, then you should. And if you're going to do it in an altcoin, you should try to find out, like, okay, well, if I have this graphic card, if I'm going to only GPU mine, and I'm going for this altcoin, okay, how much will it produce per day? How much will it produce per week or per month, right? And then you want to try and find out, okay, how much would it cost if I run this setup all day, all week, all month? And then you got to see, okay, well, am I going to be making gains on this, or am I going to be taking a hit because I'm using more electricity than I am making gains. But you also have to figure, okay, well, if I'm taking a little hit, do I feel that this coin is worth it?
In the long term.
Or has a chance to grow.
Yeah, in the long term.
Yeah, in the long term. Not in the short term, right? Because you got to remember, if we're talking about investments, we're talking about long term.
Let's put this out here now, just for the just for the sake of the conversation. Our investments in crypto, we're looking at long term, 5 to 10 year plans for the coins and things that we're mining. Yeah. If you're trying to do this seriously, you should think about what's it worth to you and what's your time frame. You know, I wouldn't go into it thinking you're going to make a quick buck, because if you're going to make a quick buck, unless you have one of the best rigs or you just have a whole mining rig set up, you're not going to see that turnaround that quickly. For the sake of the argument, everything that we're discussing is, like I said, part of the 5 to 10 year plan that we discuss, you know, as friends and as investors.
We're by no means financial advisors, but
by no means.
I put no like net money into this, so I mean, like, I'm technically not even investing. I'm actually just holding onto these coins and just hoping that they hit it big. So, like, for me, getting these, like, you know, mined coins, and let me fully disclose this: I had Dogecoin, and now I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, I have Crypto.com coin, I have like Doge, I have Shiba. I have Mana. There's like a lot of different coins that I'm basically diversifying and just trying to acquire. And I'm able to acquire that with raw computing by basically renting out my computer network. In order for me to like keep this going and keep it rolling and keep it growing, in that regard, is I'm mining some coin that I am actually turning into dollars, which will then acquire a GPU or some computer, or I'm going to like purchase a computer and then basically mine coin to be able to cover that cost. That over time, these computers are free to me with the coin that has been acquired. So with all the mining done, I've been able to acquire physical hardware to acquire more coins through like this past year and a half, I guess, and be able to also like make good decisions about where I want to throw my hash rate to be able to acquire more coin at a certain rate.
Right. So you're reinvesting into your setup and just making it better, more optimal.
What Matt's saying and what he's talking about and what he's doing, that's like also more into like the advanced end of mining, right? And then the advanced end of trying to invest by diversifying your shit, right? And he's diversifying it. Instead of him going, okay, I got this grand, I'm going to take this grand and then split it up 5 ways and put it into these 5 coins. Like, since he got good on his Dogecoin and selling it when it hit a 40 cent high, and he basically, what'd you do, Matt? You 10x?
That was a 10x. That was a 10x. Yeah.
And so he 10x and then sold.
Also at 70, like once it was like really, really high, I also diversified into Shiba Inu. So like I literally had some leftover money, and that's how I was able to acquire that coin.
Yeah. So him doing that, and then, okay, now I got this extra money. Okay, this is working out for me mining. So why don't I just get another card? Took that money, bought another card. All right, kept it moving. Oh shit, I paid off that card. I'm making extra money again. Shit, let me get this other one. And then so now he's getting into it more and more and more, right? Getting deeper into it. And he's not doing it with like random.
No, we've all discussed, we've all made educated decisions on what coins we think are valuable, when they're going to be valuable, and why.
Yeah. And a lot of it's, once you get to that point, you have to do your research. Because if you're going to spend that kind of time, you're going to spend that kind of energy on it.
You need to be making some type of gain.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's pointless to spend all that time and do all that work. I mean, even though the mining itself isn't work, but just, you know, trying to figure out what's going to work, or what coin is the best coin to mine for X amount of time for this reason. You know, that stuff, I mean, we spend a lot of time discussing which coins we think are going to be good in X amount of time and for this reason. I mean, honestly, watching things socially, watching these talking heads talk about crypto and so forth and so on, and people tweeting, all that shit matters. All that is tangible research. I mean, you don't. It's another level of knowledge that you have with crypto that you don't have with quote unquote stock, because you can see people making things trend. You can see the losses and gains. I mean, right now we're at a lull. You know, crypto's down.
Yeah.
But do we seem concerned? No, because we know that this lull is temporary. There are reasons why the cryptocurrency is quote unquote down right now. But it doesn't bother us. One, because we've already made our initial investments years ago. And everything we're messing with now, we're playing with now, is kind of like made cash. That's why we call it free internet money, because everything we're investing at this point, you know, we're gaining through mining and through prior investment.
Another factor into this is not only just holding the coin and mining the coin, it's also interest-bearing accounts. So initially, I was putting money into BlockFi. I've also had some money in Celsius, and currently I have myself in Nexo.io, and a lot of them are offering excellent interest rates on the coins. So when we were talking about the stock market, how many stocks do you know can grow themselves?
No.
Like you can have dividends and stuff like that, but that gets issued to you. But like, how many times can you like get more fractions of a stock just incrementally put onto your
just
stock
for owning
holding
the stock
every day, just for owning the stock? So this multiplier in itself, like, is what makes, you know, stable coin like attractive, because those are offering higher interest rates. And you can also do it with Bitcoin and Ethereum and like a lot of the major coins like Cardano and stuff like that. They're offering pretty high rates, but stablecoin offers the highest like interest rate at the moment with like a lot of these like interest bearing accounts.
With that being said, we are not financial officers.
Okay.
So Tales from the Lone Salesman podcast is not in charge of your. If you lose money, do not sue us.
But Manilla ICE is speaking facts.
He's speaking facts.
No, he is.
Yes.
He's speaking straight facts. Because if you think about it,
this is all like net zero money for me that's earning interest and continues to grow. So like
I say this,
don't listen to those financial inserts. Free internet money is what I'm saying, and it's making interest.
Look, I'm making more money on interest in my coin exchange than I am on my fucking bank account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I was literally telling Matt yesterday, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Like about the argument of having it all in my bank account opposed to having it into one of these exchanges that have those functions, right?
Definitely.
And how if you got a certain amount, it's like it makes no sense
to leave it in the bank.
You know what I mean? And a lot of it too just has to do with like how I think this is gonna in the future is a lot of these things, like we're seeing it already, right? More and more places are accepting Bitcoin or Doge or Ethereum or whatever as like, okay, that's a type of currency we'll accept. You can pay us in your dollar or in your yen or in your yuan or in whatever it is, whatever country you're in.
Your peso.
You can, but you can also pay in this cryptocurrency. What makes you think that 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, however long down the line, this isn't going to be a majorly big...
It's going to be a universally accepted currency.
You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be. You got to think about
it's better than paper.
Itself. Think about currency.
It's better than paper.
Currency is only as valuable as confidence in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the other major coins right now have gained that level of confidence. I mean, Bitcoin ain't $30,000 per coin for nothing.
Yeah. And you look at Venezuela.
But it's because of that verifiable chain trust that makes that the actual, you know, that has that commands that type of belief, because it's mathematics. It's actually proving that these transactions are real. You could do other stuff to be able to like get the Bitcoin, but there's not going to be the problem of double spend or any weird faking out of like the money. It's going to be verifiably true, cryptographically true, and the probability is so high that you have to verify these things.
Yeah,
so I mean, again, that's really the future. That's actual trust. Not just one bank, not just like 3 banks. There's like a lot of different countries and a lot of different networks that are doing verification on all of these transactions.
Yeah.
So lots of different clearinghouses that are making these transactions be trusted. Here's another example. Let's talk about this. I had to transfer, let's say $500 for whatever reason in Bitcoin from one exchange, from like my Kraken to Coinbase or whatever it is, right? That $500 exchange from one place to another, let's say if I had to move between banks, that's 2 to 3 days to transfer from one bank to another without it be costing anything, right? Or next to nothing. That takes a long time. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That happened to me in the course of probably 4 or 5 hours, and the whole thing was verified, I don't know, 10 to 12 times. That's a lot.
And it hits your account real time.
And it hit my account real time within the 4 hours. And that's a lot of verifications that happen that don't happen with banks currently. Like, it just takes a lot longer. And on top of that, there was like a $1.5 million blockchain transaction that was part of that chain. So they were able to verify within 4 hours a multi-million-dollar transaction on top of like my peasant $500. And it was able to do it verifiably, verify it multiple times and do it securely and quickly. And I'm sure it was like probably like multiple countries are involved. So like there's no foreign transaction fees. There's like none of these middleman fees. It's really like you're contributing to the network. It's really like relatively cheap to be able to do these like blockchain transactions. And it transcends basically moving country to country because we're just dealing in Bitcoin at the end of the day, or Dogecoin, or whichever cryptocurrency you want to deal with. So in that regard, it's better than banks in
for sure.
In being able to
we're not finance
move
people.
Stuff.
We're not finance people, but I mean, talking about like the ease of use. I mean, Chase, you've traveled around a lot, and you know is probably more than I do how much of a pain in the ass it is to get money transferred from a U.S. bank account to a Japanese bank account with something like Western Union using a middleman app. It's so hard to transfer money internationally without paying a lot. Talking about what Matt said, how easy it was to transfer from one institution to the other with as little fees as possible and as quick as possible. I mean,
Chase, have I anything via crypto before? I think we have, and it's fast. I mean, it's
like I think the longest it took was like maybe 30 minutes before.
Yeah.
But other than that, like me and Matt have literally watched it go like from both ends within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. You know what I mean? To where like you were saying, Paul, if I was to take $1,000 from my US account and transfer it to my Japanese account, I'm waiting at least 2 days, 3 days.
And the conversion of the money too.
There's the conversion, and you know the bank's going to take their cut because they got to convert it, and then they're going to charge you what, $60 or X percent of however much you're sending, right? So it's like these places are always going to be in your pockets, right? Where if we're going exchange to exchange, like there's barely any fee, right? There might be a minimum where the minimum amount you can send is like $50 worth of whatever.
Yeah,
right?
but then you're not going to have that one transaction fee from whatever exchange you're using, and that's it. You're not dealing with everybody taking their piece because we're going through a quote unquote financial institution.
Yeah, like the only time it gets kind of crazy is when you're using certain platforms. And you're trying to go from one platform to another. But even then, it's like, it's only because maybe you're not hitting the minimum amount you should be sending out. Like, let's say you're trying to help somebody out, a homie that's like trying to get home and he needs $10, right? If I was going to send him $10 in BTC, this platform's going to charge me $40 because it's got to go to this other platform that's on a different chain. If I send them 50, it's only like $2. So some platforms, they have little bullshit like that.
Of course.
But it's still a lot cheaper than if I was gonna send Manilla Ice $50 and from Western Union, because Western Union's still gonna take their cut, right? And then they're gonna, and then it's
basically sending
and then it's gonna hit an exchange because I gotta send them 10 to USD. So he's not getting a full $50 at that point, or I'm having to spend more than $50
to get what he needs to have.
Yeah.
So another thing that is really, really important too is like the speed, right? I just talked about Bitcoin transacting a multi-million-dollar transaction within 4 hours. With Litecoin and the Litecoin variants, i.e. Dogecoin, that's another one where the transactions go ridiculously fast. And that's where like it took probably 30 minutes or 45 minutes to verify 92 times, which is ridiculous for that chain. That's ridiculously fast. And Bitcoin was like 12.
In no time.
And
try to do that at your local financial institution.
Yeah.
First of all, you're not going to get $1 million that first day.
Oh no, they're gonna be asking all the questions too, like
all the questions.
They're not doing that over the phone or the internet. I'll tell you
that. Oh no, you got to go in for that
hell
shit.
No, you got to go in,
and that's going to take at least an hour or two, right? And then you got to make sure the other person.
It's going to take a couple of days
because you got to remember the bank's using that money too. Like, wait, hold up, if you take this money,
we don't have money, so it might take a day or two for them to put it all together for you.
But I'm saying, like, you're going to be spending at least an hour or two there just to set all that up for them to take that extra, however many
couple of days.
And imagine
that's on both ends.
Imagine if you want cash too, right? If you want cash, be like, I want to pull out $1 million cash. That shit's not going to happen in that same day. They're like, well, first we don't even have that much cash on hand, and then they're going to be.
I could tell you, for instance, like my bank gave me a hard time trying to pull out like $15,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's there. It's sitting in my account. It's all good. But and my bank I'm not in the same city as my bank, so it was a real fucking hassle. It was a real hassle.
Like you couldn't even draw a check on it.
Not even no. It's not even okay. So in the end, I ended up having to create 2 cashier's checks, and I still wasn't able to get the full amount I need because there's a limit. Why is there a limit?
Like, look, motherfucker, I get it. I might be getting blackmailed, but
that's
your money. Some lubricant
though.
This time? Can I get some lube?
I promise you that my news didn't leak on the internet, and I'm not trying to pay someone to take it off.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It'd be one thing. It's like, it's the cash in the account. It's there. And they're like, no, you can only take out XYZ per day. I'm like, hell no. That makes no sense.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day, right? Like, the banks, they're doing all this extra shit with your money that they ain't really telling you either. Plus, they're making money on top of your money, right? And you don't see nothing off of that. And that's like what, going back to what Matt was saying, in at least there's these programs set up in crypto where, if you're letting them hold your money, they're doing stuff with your money, but they're also breaking you off of what they're doing with that money.
Right.
Because it's only right? To where a bank, they're not telling you, oh, by the way, like, this guy came in, wanted to get a loan for a car. We ain't got the money for it. We got your money, so we're going to use some of your money for it.
Especially if it's in a checking account.
You know what I'm saying? And then once that finishes up, oh, we made X amount off that interest that homeboy's car was for. And but we put your $200 back there.
And we gave you 0.002%.
Not even, and that's because your shit's there at the bank, right?
Just like I said, we're not financial people. We're just trying to give you our experience with financial institutions in comparison to using crypto.
And that's why I brought you guys on the show, because I trust your opinion over, let's say, bringing a crypto bro expert, and he's here to tell me blah, 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 blah.
Paper hands, man. Paper hands.
Yeah, like, I don't give a shit. the whole thing with crypto mining, I trust.
We're real people. You're real.
I trust you.
Yeah.
I mean, you and not to mention, even if you do or if you didn't trust us, you see.
Yeah.
In our chats.
I'm like, okay,
what's happening real time for us? It's not like we're just playing along and pulling your leg. Like, we're gonna fool Paul.
Yeah, we got. We got the Discord bot in there. Exactly, we got the Discord bot in there telling us the statistics. I remember at one point Chase was like, "D, if you don't stop fucking doing that exclamation part P, I swear to God." And then
it was like every 15, 20 minutes or something.
He was like, I'm gonna take this Discord bot out of this fucking server if you don't take that shit.
It wasn't even a week. It was that day. It was that day Doge had bounced up to like 70 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were losing our minds. That's fine.
Yeah.
We were. Yeah. I mean, you did get it under a cent, so it's like 700% for you gain off of your under.
Yeah, I had a great run on Doge.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong. That does not mean that I pumped and dumped Doge.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I took that and diversified.
Exactly. And going back to the whole point of bringing you guys here is because, I understand that you guys have been through ups and downs. You've learned your own way, and we're not here to like advise people on what to do with their money, more so just telling you, hey, this is the experience we've had with it. So take this and then do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, it's up to you, right? Like, we're just here giving off our experiences and information that we've gathered. Hopefully, it makes it a little easier for you because, now you don't have to do the research on those certain things that we talked about, but it helps you like on your way down the rabbit hole.
Doesn't DnZ always sound like he's trying to sell you a Snickers?
Don't stop with the Snick. We're not getting into that here, okay?
All veins.
All the veins.
All veins.
It all started going downhill.
And the nuts and the creamy nougat, right?
Oh man!
Yeah, okay. So crypto.
The tips are always the most.
The tips about crypto, yes. Okay. No.
Does everybody have their own tips for crypto?
Well, only certain people who are,
No, that was addressed to our group here.
Yeah,
I'm sure everybody has their. I mean, we all dabble and we all.
The only tip. The most important tip is to join our Discord at tinyurl. It'll be in the description. But
sure,
if you want to ask questions, if you want to read up on the stuff that we're finding daily, like, feel free to join. And if you want to ask more about mining, and we're just there to help. If somebody's seeking knowledge and it's knowledge that we have or we know where to get and we can help somebody, like that's what we try to do, right? Like, that's what we've done so far in that section of the Discord, I think. Like,
that's how we've done in that, and we've been actually really good in our crypto Discord. Unlike our other Discords, we've been really good in crypto.
Yeah, in the other channels, it's a total shit show.
Yeah, guys, just don't go to main lobby chat. Just don't look at that. Just look at the crypto info text channel.
Yeah,
just don't give them an invite to the main lobby, okay?
I remember when the crypto channel was the main lobby, and we had to break it out into crypto info. So
literally, that's what happened.
Yeah. We're like, hold up, we can't have this ignorant thing that I just posted, and then me trying to talk about money after that.
Right.
That's just not going to make any sense.
Work.
It
don't work.
No. So if you just have an open mind, and hopefully you joke around like us. So that's really,
I tell you guys, I've told you guys, if you're going to start investing in crypto, set aside whatever money that you can afford to lose. Don't go into it thinking you're going to make a whole shitload of money, because nothing works like that. Just start off small. I would advise everybody who wants to get into crypto, mine some crypto. It's the surefire way to get what you want.
Anyone can do it. Literally anyone. I had my friend's kid show me his mining rig with his laptop, and it's going through NiceHash, and he's earning like a couple cents a day. That thing is basically free money that's coming in, and he's able to invest it into whatever coins he wants to see fit with the extra money that is his income. And he's a kid. He's literally like...
Don't forget that cryptocurrency can be changed to any currency.
Yeah.
So don't think that it has no value, because a lot of people go into this thinking it's a joke, and a lot of people that heckle it is because they don't see the game that you may see in the stock market, and that's because they don't realize that in order for you to make gains in the stock market, you got to have a lot of money. In crypto, you can always buy fractions
buy a
of
little
any
bit.
currency, right? So any amount of money can get you started, or you can just start mining and not spend any money.
But that's
you could do not just that. You could also mine and throw into an interest-bearing account, and then it's always going to grow. So you can put that little bit of money, and it could always grow until it becomes big money because it's constantly growing. So you can literally see that elementary school lesson of compound interest actually working for you. And not a lot of people have a lot of extra money just laying around. But if you just have this like little bit of money that will compound over years and years, that will become your extra money. And then that could compound. So like if you're actually able to set aside just a little bit and keep feeding that interest bearing account, or you hit it big on a coin and you want to park your gains and put it into a stable coin that can consistently earn interest. These are like literal economic market forces, and people literally spend years and years of their life just trying to have that function of compound interest apply toward their retirement accounts. You can have this at a much smaller scale for you, a personal investor. If you don't want to mine, you want the coin right now, just buy it. If you want mine and have it be free, quote unquote free, then you could do that too. So however you want to attack the problem, whether it be with actual hard money, with mining, with services, however you want to be able to attain this value and have compound interest applied to your extra money that you have on the side that you'd be willing to, you're not going to be willing to lose it, but you can afford to lose it.
Right.
But you're not going to, because it's going to keep going up, compound interest.
Yeah. I mean,
as long as you do that, then you're fine.
If you have $100, right? Like most people right now that aren't doing it, right? If they're at least they're smart enough and they're trying to like stack up, at least taking every, check, and they're going, okay, you know what? This check, every check, I'm going to take $100 and put it into my savings. So if you're going to do that, and you at least have that mentality to say, okay, every check, I'm going to take $100, put it in my savings. Take that 100, put it into one of the stable coins.
You know what? Don't even do that. Just if you're doing that, take 50 and put it into the stable coin.
Yeah.
At least then you're like diversifying in it.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah. And then, and if you have a computer, mine.
Yeah. My computer is dual use, gaming and mining. When I'm not gaming, it's mining.
Yeah. And you don't have to mine 24 hours a day. Mine when you go to sleep. Mine when you go to work.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing.
When you go boo-boo,
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you got a computer and you want to get into it, and and you're doing $50 here, and you want to use that extra computer or your computer to get some extra crypto, just mine. It doesn't hurt nothing.
Here's another funny story I have.
Okay, right? Here we go.
So I was at the grocery store one day and I found a quarter on the ground, and I didn't pick it up because I knew that I had plenty of those being mined at my house, literally in coins. Like I don't need to waste my time.
Literally left money on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could pick it up, but I was like, no, that's too much effort. No, like it's okay. I want someone else. I want to put that goodwill on the earth so that someone else can pick this up. But I have plenty of those at the house, and it's okay. And mine is interest bearing. That coin is not. I have to do a lot of effort to make that thing earn interest. So that might not be worth the time. So that's another thing about this whole thing, right? Like if you're able to treat it as just like, I want money while I'm sleeping. That's kind of the American dream of being able to not have to work your job, but consistently making money while you're asleep. this is a good way to do that because your computers can work while you sleep. And it may not be a great load of money, but over time with compound interest, that might be that quarter that you found in the ground. And if you found a ground, hell, if I found a quarter in the ground when I was like 5 years old, I was the richest kid on planet Earth.
Hey, that's hella bubblegum sticks.
But you got to think about it. You got to think about it like this. Like, in the end, the whole thing we're really trying to say is you can use any amount of money to make money. If you have a computer, you can be making money. And in the end, just sit it and forget it.
Yeah.
If you sit up here and watch it every day, if you're watching it every day and you're disciplined and you don't get scared.
Yep.
But
and that's going to turn you to paper hands.
Yeah. If you can get past what everybody's saying, if you can get past the drops in the market and stick to your plan, I can almost guarantee you're going to see some growth in almost any coin, any of the major coins or any of the major altcoins that are doing things. I mean, we're not just saying Doge for Doge. I mean, we see people using Doge. Doge has been accepted in the marketplace. Doge is you can buy Doge at freaking Bitcoin ATMs. So it's not like it's an altcoin that could be on the verge of being another major coin. But gotta give it some time.
It's hit the social consciousness. It's like I said, it's the Gucci of crypto.
Yeah.
You think it's the Gucci? I don't think Bitcoin was the Gucci.
Yeah, I think it's like the Supreme.
Oh man.
The Supreme, yeah.
Who's Patagonia? Who's
Supreme?
Which one's Canada Goose?
Patagonia will be Ethereum.
Okay.
Maybe Cardano. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, Cardano. It could be Cardano too. I mean, Patagonia shit is expensive, man.
I know, man. Everyone used to have one, but now
I refuse. Like REI, Patagonia, I'm good, man. That's for upper class
uppity folk.
Yeah.
Uppity folk. Well, hey guys, I appreciate all the insight on this. Do you guys have any other closing thoughts you'd like to give on this discussion?
I wanted to.
You're not financial advisors.
Yes.
I wanted to bring up D's foolproof plan for crypto.
Okay.
Like this is his operating like procedure for buying crypto. You buy it on your phone, and then you throw the phone in the trash can after you're done. That's
Amazing.
how you keep. That's how you keep those diamond hands.
Okay.
That's the operating procedure.
You just gotta be disciplined, man. Just don't get scared and stick to your plan. Like my whole plan, like I'm not touching any more Doge. Period. Till my 10-year cycle is up. I have more than enough. I'm good on it. I'm almost at that point with my Shiba Inu, where that's going to be at its peak, and I'm done with it. And then I'm going to let those cook for years.
Right.
And I'm going to, I'll mine something different. I don't want to say what I'm going to mine next, because then, people, we've discussed what
you heard it here first on the Tales from the Lone Salesman podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
But me and Manilla and DnZ, we've all discussed like the next few steps that we want to do. And I think my next currency I'm going to mine, I think that's going to be the next, honestly, big thing.
All right, then. Yeah. Well, where can we find you guys? DJ Manilla ICE, DJ DnZ. We know you guys streaming on Twitch. Have some stuff on Instagram every now and then. Is there anywhere else we could find you?
We don't stream financial advice.
We don't. Yeah, they're strictly music. they're not crypto bros who have lectures on all that. What about you, PimpFreshD? Is there anywhere people could find you if you're trying to?
People will find us on the Discord. I mean, I don't think that would be if you're looking and you have like serious questions or a serious attitude in the crypto Discord is where you need to address those questions and those comments.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you want to just come and hang out and
don't think you're above getting cussed out, because it probably will happen.
If you guys want to get into the Discord, just find me on Twitter at the Lone Salesman, and I'll send you guys an invite if you're interested, for sure. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. I had a lot of fun doing this. You guys were extremely professional, gave some good advice, and also told people, hey, we're just doing this for fun, for our own personal reasons. Like Dee said several times, we're not financial advisors. We're just here to talk about it. So, with that being said, thanks guys for stopping by, and I'll see you later, and see you next time.
Bye.
So,
see y'all.